Josh, and this could be a little bit of a different experience for you now, because if you're watching this on YouTube, this is now a video cast as well as a podcast. The podcast isn't changing or anything like that. It's still going to be exactly the same feel, exactly the same kind of, vibe for the show, except I wanted to add somewhat of a visual experience to this, because you guys never really see me podcast. You never really see it. And I'm like, hey, I have YouTube. I have people that subscribe to my YouTube. I have all the ability and technology at my fingertips to be able to record the video side of podcasting. And I'm like, the Josh Robinson Show is something that I completely do on my own, just separate from everything else. And I just talk about whatever the hell I want anyway. So I'm like, hey, let's try this out. Let's see how this works. Hey, I don't know if this is going to be like amazing. I don't know if this is going to be like something that I do all the time, but this is the test. This is we'll see how it goes. If people dig this, if people don't, whatever. It's completely on, that side of things and whether I enjoy it. It doesn't really add anything that much extra to how I do this. It's just more so, I just got to upload a video now. It's really not that hard to do. I'm not going into the editing side of things or anything like that. It's just completely the same as the podcast, the audio that you're going to hear wherever you listen to the Josh Robinson Show. So, hey, I mean, I want to do more stuff video-wise, and I want to do more stuff, stuff like this. So this is the perfect place to kind of, iron everything out, make sure everything works properly. And it's just weird for me that you're going to see my face while recording a podcast, because it's not something I think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever actually done this, so feel honored if you're watching this on YouTube. So with the Josh Robinson Show, however you want to, consume this, whether you want to watch the video on YouTube and have it as a video cast, or whether you want to listen to this just as you always have been with audio, it's completely up to you. It doesn't require you to see this to be able to still experience the same show. It's just to add something, and if people prefer just to watch than just listen, whoa, nearly just knocked my mic right over. If people just prefer to watch something and have that visual side of things, then this is it now. I've got my own little thing to kind of do this with, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if it sticks, if it's something I like doing, and if it gets enough people watching, and so on and so forth, then hey, we'll keep doing this, I'll keep doing this, and we'll see how it goes, because it should be really, really no different from me at the end of the day. But hey, we'll see how it all goes. It's been something that I've been thinking about doing for a little while. It's like, I want to do more video content. I do a lot of stuff where all you hear is my voice, and you don't really get to see me at all. Not that it's, that great to look at. I mean, a little bit. No, it's not really that great to look at, but hey, this is just something else. It's, it's just something different. It's just something I wanted to try, and something I've been something I've been thinking about trying for a little while. It was just how the best way to go about it was, but I figured it's not really that much different anyway. So here we are on the very first show with a video cast, but the 5th episode now I think I've done of this, and everything else that I do it. Currently, the first thing that I want to talk about is something that happened this past weekend with Brainbuster Radio. You guys know that we set out to start off BBR TV over on Twitch with the summer stream. It's winter here, but summer over in the States, where most of the Brainbuster team is based. However, we did the summer stream. It was an 8-hour stream. We raised over $250. We got to the goal right at the end. I was the last person on that stream, and I was able to be like, yes, we got there. We did it. We really soldiered this thing home, and it was great. Like, it was just a great time. We had a lot of really fun moments throughout that 8 hours. I was up from 4:30 in the morning doing this summer stream, and it was just a lot of fun. I had, it's not very often that I'm speechless with some things, but after that I was like, I have no words to really describe what that was and what that kind of meant for us, because I think we're just going to keep growing and building with stuff, and it's just really fun to be a part of. I've been a part of Brainbuster Radio since its inception, since the very beginning. You know the story by now. I've kind of told it many times throughout Reverb and on here and whatever I've done, and if you follow me on socials and just the whole team and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go on about Summer Stream for too long, but just a big congratulations to everybody that was involved in that, and just the biggest thank you to anyone that supported anything we did with that, because it was a long time coming. It was months in the making, and just big ups to Summer Stream, because it was just a lot of fun. Like going through like everything with the Josh Robinson show, and just being like the show about anything, and just being the other avenue and outlet to. Now, if you're watching this, I'm going to cut myself off here. If you're watching this, you keep seeing I keep hitting my damn mic. I just keep hitting the bottom of it, and it just keeps moving. It's going to be something I have to not do. I'm a hand talker, so I smack things out. That sounds bad. I smack my microphone out, and it just wobbles. But, again, usually you can't see me when I do that, but now you can. So now, I guess secret's out, I'm a mic hitter. Anyway, what I was going to say is when... with this show, with it really being about anything, it's like sometimes I sit here and I'm like, what am I going to talk about? What topic am I going to do? And then I think this really is the show about anything. And then I just think back to my week and what's been kind of going on in the week. And I kind of settled on the fact that this last weekend, hey, everyone knows that 13 Reasons Why came out last week, and it's the 3rd season now. I've been a fan of the show since it started, and really been waiting for this season for quite some time to come out and be like, okay, where are we going with this? First and foremost, the thing I want to talk about with 13 Reasons Why, before I get to the 3rd season, what I thought about it and stuff like that, 13 Reasons Why is a very controversial show. It has a lot of people divided on whether it's good for television, whether it's not, and so on and so forth. 13 Reasons Why, in my opinion, is a fantastic show, first and foremost. I think it is a very, very, very good show. I understand why some people are like, oh, I can't watch this. It's not for everybody, especially if there is some, it's a lot of based on suicide and sexual harassment and, just very, very sensitive issues. And I get that. The world is a very sensitive place. My kind of feelings on that is that the world is too sensitive, and we get offended at anything just to be offended. But I understand it in some cases. It's a very trigger warning show. They have very much came out and said, like, hey, if this might not be the show for you if you're experiencing some of these, it might be, and on the contrary, it might be the show for you if you've experienced some of this and whatever. For me personally, I have no problem with it. I think that sometimes we got to get a little bit uncomfortable with some things if it's right in front of your face to deal with these issues. So for me, that's my kind of stance on 13 Reasons Why. Now, the first season was all about Hannah Baker and, her suicide, and then releasing these tapes on 13 Reasons Why she decided to take her own life. And then the second season was a little bit more about like the Bryce Walker stuff with the trial and Tyler getting all that stuff, like this, the sexual assault from Monty to Tyler and all of that in the second season. Now, the first season I loved to bits. The second season I was like, this wasn't as good as the first. Now, the third season I was like, how do you really go further with this show without degrading it and just making it, kind of less than it was in the first 2 seasons, or at least in the first season, in my opinion. And I was kind of like, how do you really go through with this show? How does it really hold up? Now, this show introduced a new character, Arnie, or I always get her name wrong, and Arnie, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She moved here. She kind of knew the story about Hannah, because it was kind of online and stuff like that, because of, all the stuff that went out with the trial and the tapes and whatever. Everyone, I'm not going to give you a synopsis of what actually has gone on, but I'm just kind of giving my opinion. This isn't a review. Spoiler warning, I guess. If you haven't watched the 3rd season, maybe just skip ahead, or maybe watch the 3rd season before. I'm not going to give too much away, but just my opinion on it. It was really, for me, it was like, where do we go from here? And then it was kind of like, okay, we're going to the death of Bryce Walker. That was the kind of who killed Bryce Walker, and the speculation ran wild. They added all these little, like, I guess, like, little things of like, oh, maybe this person did, like assumptions. I guess that's what you would say. There'd be assumptions. Who killed Bryce? Did this person do it? Was it Clay? Was it Jessica? People all had reasons to why they would kill Bryce Walker, because he's a rapist and just a bad person in general. But so they're still at school. They're going into their senior year and whatever it may be. And this season really didn't have, there was still, for me, with the stuff they've shown in the first season and the second season with the actual suicide scene, which they've now taken out of the first season, and then the very graphic raping scenes in the first season and in the second season, this didn't have, it still had, a lot of violence and a lot of like stuff like that, but to me, this didn't have, that particular scene that you were like, whoa, that was really hard to watch. There wasn't any of that in the third season, which to me is that they were kind of backed into a corner, because I feel like there was a lot of negative association with that and being so graphic and so real, I guess, and very raw and stuff like that with some of those scenes. So they were kind of backed into a corner and be like, we can't really do this anymore, which I think is a little bit of a that stuff to me is real and that really does happen. So why not put it in a show about, that kind of stuff. But hey, it is what it is. It's not like make or break. You don't have to have those scenes in there just to have those scenes in there. There wasn't really any of that. There was still, like I said, a lot of violence, especially with the killing of Bryce Walker and the fighting and stuff like that. And still a lot of drugs, very focused on drugs. The former allegations, the former things that happened with Bryce, with the sexual assaults and stuff like that, and Monty and stuff like that. But overall, this season was better than the second season. I don't know if it was better than the first, but it was definitely better than the second season. I really enjoyed it. Now, we know they've come out and said, like, after the fourth season, the next season is going to be the final. And this one really left it open for the next one because there was a big lie on who actually killed Bryce and stuff like that. But it's definitely going in the right direction. I'm glad they're ending it when they do, because I think in general shows, this is just, I understand why this happens, is just like pure milking everything dry and getting every bit out of a show as you can. But sometimes that just, really, really compresses the quality of a television show in this day and age. So I'm glad they're ending after 4, because I feel like it would be the perfect time to end and the perfect time to just, say goodbye to these characters. And so I'm really expecting the 4th season to really be like, really go hard or go home with some things. And I think I feel like there is going to be characters that are going to die and stuff like that, but that's just life, and there'll be 13 more episodes after the 3rd. But I really did enjoy this season. It was just something that I knew I had to kind of talk about, and because I have no problem with the show being as graphic as it was, being as real as it was, and just talking about real issues instead of just this, it was actually a show about something instead of just a show about nothing. And I kind of like that with that. So 13 Reasons Why was my kind of like weekend. I guess I binged 13 Reasons Why over the weekend. It was it's one of those shows, there's not a lot of stuff that I can just sit there, and I'm a very fidgety person. I have to be doing something while I'm doing something else. I'm just that kind of person. Like, as you can see, I'm a hand talker, so I can't just sit still. But for this show, I can literally just sit down and just be involved. There's not too many television shows that can really do that. And just the ability to binge watch something. I've kind of talked about binging stuff and Netflix being the kind of leader with that. I kind of prefer that. So I just sat down, and my weekend was just watching 13 Reasons Why and enjoying that. And hey, I loved it to bits. So onwards and upwards to next year, I guess. I guess next year will be the final season, around probably this time next year. And can't wait. Cannot wait. It's a very, 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 very well done show, in my opinion. Being around that age, I'm a little bit older than, a high schooler, but obviously it wasn't that long ago that I was in high school, so I really enjoyed it. It was just a really good time. Something else I want to talk about, speaking of streaming services, a big thing that happened over the weekend was a lot of stuff for Disney Plus got announced. Now, Disney Plus is launching in the US on November 12th. It'll launch in Australia and a lot of, other places in the world on November 19th. So there really isn't too much of a gap. We didn't get Netflix until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when, the States have had Netflix, and a lot of the other parts of the world has had Netflix for quite some time before us. So we finally got Netflix. So the fact that there's only a week in between the launch of the US and then Australia and a lot of other countries in the world is just, I'm just so happy about that, because apparently it's only going to be like $6 or $7 a month, which is perfect. There is so much that got announced at this like Disney Plus Expo that they had over the weekend. there was stuff about Star Wars announced. There was stuff about a High School Musical series coming out, which is High School Musical was a big part of my childhood. I mean, I was 10, 11 when like the original High School Musical came out, and it was very much a big part of my childhood. There was a lot of like original series. There was more stuff about Star Wars in the fact that Ewan McGregor's coming back to play Obi-Wan in a series on Disney Plus. The best thing about all of this is that like we're gonna get to binge this. So I'm sign on the dotted line, take my money Disney Plus. The biggest thing that came out of that for me personally is that Lizzie McGuire is coming back. Lizzie goddamn McGuire. I'm so excited that Lizzie McGuire is coming back because Lizzie McGuire is probably, in my opinion, the greatest Disney show of that kind of era of all time. Well, I think it is the greatest Disney show of all time. I'll just put it out there. At least the greatest Disney like sitcom of all time. Like when you put it in the bubble of like Raven and Hannah Montana and all of those shows, Lizzie is the best one. It's still genuinely funny. I was only talking about Lizzie McGuire like maybe a month back on the Josh Robinson show and just talking about how much I love it. The fact that Hilary Duff is coming back, I hope we get some more of the old characters like Gordo and Miranda and all of that. But man, it's just, it puts a smile on my face that it's going to be on Disney Plus. So I don't know what the kind of vibe of the show is. She kind of said that Lizzie's in her 30s now, and you know, Hilary Duff is very excited for that. Hilary Duff is a criminally underrated talent, by the way. And not only that, she's one of the Disney stars that didn't go completely batshit crazy. So that's nice. Hilary is just, she's done a lot of stuff, music and movies, and she was on that show Younger and stuff like that. But Lizzie McGuire, Hilary Duff is Lizzie McGuire at her core. It was her breakout role. Well, I guess she was in Casper, wasn't she? So she was in like Casper Meets Wendy. But I mean, like everyone knows Hilary Duff as Lizzie McGuire. So the fact that she's on board and she's so excited, and we'll see how it goes and see what kind of the vibe of the show is. I don't know if these Disney Plus shows are all going to be like kid friendly. I don't know. I know there's a lot of Disney stuff that isn't like kid friendly, but yeah, we'll see how it goes and see what the kind of vibe is. And I'm all hands on deck for for Disney Plus in general and all of the stuff that's coming with Disney Plus. I mean, Disney has so much content. I don't think people realize that Disney own so much of the stuff we love. I think The Simpsons are going to be on Disney Plus as well, which is fantastic because, I mean, as much as I don't watch The Simpsons really anymore, like the newer stuff, I mean, there's so much classic Simpsons content that I'm like, I just love The Simpsons, and, you know, it's just it's an iconic television show. It's just fun to watch. So the fact that it's going to be available to watch on Disney Plus is pretty damn cool. Just that whole expo that they had over the weekend is just something that I'm just like, oh man, this is going to be a really cool streaming service. I mean, it's not going to knock Netflix, you know, out of the way, or Netflix isn't going anywhere, but hey, it's giving Netflix a run for their money because Netflix have a lot of great original content. I've always stated that the biggest selling point for me with Netflix is their original stuff, because of course I love to go and binge old stuff, don't get me wrong, but Netflix at its core, to me, what their quality is all their original movies and series. So Disney now are coming out with all of this stuff that's nostalgic but also new, like High School Musical, like Star Wars, like Lizzie McGuire, and the list goes on. Lots of Marvel stuff too, I believe, was announced on at the Disney Expo. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that's like at its core nostalgic, but it's also new. So that's what they have to offer against Netflix. Not saying that Disney Plus isn't going to have like pure original content, because it definitely will. There is a lot of stuff on there that's just purely new. But yeah, Netflix is a little different in that space, and they're losing a lot of content, Netflix, with Disney. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of happens with Disney Plus when it launches in November. So it's just fun, okay? It's just a fun experience to have Disney Plus coming in and whatever it may be. Another thing, other than on the weekend and over this last maybe a week or so, that I've rediscovered my love for is, now, not everyone's going to be on board with this. Not everyone is a fan of video games, but I'm a massive gamer. I just always have been. I've always loved video games, and I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. Well, not again. I've been continuing on. So I bought it when it came out. You know, I was one of those people that was like, it's midnight, I'm playing some Red Dead. And I got there and I got about, I don't know, 50% through, maybe halfway through, maybe a little bit less through of Red Dead. And I just kind of stopped playing it. I'm like, I'll get back to this one day. And that would have been in like, I don't know, it wouldn't have been that long after it came out, maybe like a month or so after it came out. I'm like, I'll get back to this when I do. Because as you know, anyone that plays Rockstar open world games like Red Dead Redemption or GTA, is that you get sidetracked so easily in those games. You could just be doing something and then something pops up and you go do it. So really it takes hours and hours and hours and hours to get through these missions because you're always sidetracked. And I know me, a distraction, I'm like, oh, what is that over there? So I'm going to go and have a look. So I've been like the last month or two, I've just been like, I got to get back into Red Dead and finish this dang game. The last week or so, I've been really playing it again, and I'm really starting to progress through. Now, this isn't a spoiler alert or anything, because I'm not at the end anyway, so... But just... Rockstar are very good at creating open world games. GTA is just a juggernaut of just... They have really... I think it's the top-selling game of all time. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is one of the only games to exceed billions of dollars in revenue, just with, you know... copies sold and GTA Online and that whole thing. And Red Dead was, I mean, anyone in the gaming world would know how big of a deal Red Dead 2 was coming out after the first. Red Dead Redemption, like the first one, is probably my favorite game ever. I absolutely love that game, and this is really no exception. The second one is very, very good. I'll wait till I get to the end to kind of judge it, but it's just huge. There's so much to do. And just, you know, going from riding on your horse from one end of the map to the other takes you so long. It really is like riding a horse. But this game is just so open and so it's just massive. And there's like, again, there's so much to do in this game. And I've just really been loving it again. And I feel like it slipped my mind how good this game actually is and can be. And it's just really fun. I've really been enjoying. I'm like, the moment I get off of here and upload what I need to upload to the, you know, all my, you know, distribute this to where it needs to go, I'm gonna sit my ass on my couch and I'm just gonna play some more Red Dead because I've just been so enamored with it. I guess is the only way to say it. But other than that, this week I don't really have too much more to talk about. This is really starting what I've realized with, you know, I've kind of stated this is the show about anything that's kind of been, I've tried to hit that home, but this is just kind of be, there's going to be topics, of course. There's going to be things that I'm like, I have to talk about this. But for the most part, it's just like, this is my week. This is what I'm kind of doing. Just a cool little chill half an hour or so, or whatever length this is going to end up being, but just a cool little time just to chat. And now that you got this visual experience, maybe I'll do some stuff where I do this live and I can do Q&As live, and who knows what will happen, who knows what I'm going to kind of do with this, but I've just had a really good time with this and with Reverb, and I'm ready to spread my wings a little bit with this kind of stuff. I'm ready to try different things and really try to make this, and really, I've just really tried to accentuate the brand of, you see my name down there, Josh Robinson 00, okay? Down there is what I kind of am branding, and branding is hard to do, but it's kind of become, I've realized in the last year and a bit that I've been doing this, that I've essentially created a brand. I've created a brand, and it's just fun to do, and I don't know, I'm just having a lot of fun with all of it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. But it's fun. It's just fun to do. But that will do it for this week on the Josh Robinson Show. Whoa. Calm down. We got to do something else here. Of course, I wouldn't be able to do a Josh Robinson Show without my recommendations of the week. Pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. TV show or movie, song, and a podcast. They're my 3 recommendations. I guess I'll start with a TV show. Obviously, I'm going to state what I talked about before, and that's 13 Reasons Why. If this is something that you're interested in watching that you haven't, or if you just haven't watched the 3rd season, I'd recommend logging onto your Netflix account and watching 13 Reasons Why, because it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So go and check that out. As for a song, now, I've been having this argument with people on Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue is a very successful lady in the 80s, 90s, up to now, I guess. I guess she's still doing stuff. Who knows? But, I mean, I've always been like, what's the best Kylie Minogue song? I got one for you. Red-Blooded Woman. Go and check out Red-Blooded Woman by Kylie Minogue. It's a tune. It's a banger, I guess you would say. It's lit AF. Was that cringy? Who knows? But Red-Blooded Woman by Kylie Minogue. Go and check that out. As for our podcast this week, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts about wrestling. I listen to a lot of podcasts about just anything. I recommended Regular Girls with Renee Young. Renee Young's podcast with Stacey McGonigal. That's a fantastic podcast. You know, and I try to listen to all different kinds of podcasts, but it is essentially at my core, I listen to a lot of independent wrestling podcasts. So this week, for my recommendation, I'm gonna give you one that I kind of listen to every single week, and that is, of course, Dits on Wrestling. Dits is a dear friend of mine. We do Dits versus Josh, which is coming back very, very soon. It's kind of been a mixture of both of us just having stuff on and just everything, but we're getting back to it. Dits versus Josh will be back. If not this week, it'll be next week. But Dits on Wrestling, he has a fantastic podcast. He just had a podcast with a new theme song, and it's a tune. He is a really, really intelligent wrestling fan without rubbing it in your face, which I like. So make sure you go and check out Dits on Wrestling. I'll put the link in the description, but it's at Dits on Wrestling on Twitter. Go and check his stuff out. He's a really, really good time. But now, that will do it for this week's The Josh Robinson Show. I thank you for listening this week. Please rate this podcast 5 stars on iTunes. Leave those reviews. It really does help me out to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And if you're checking this out on YouTube and you're watching this for the first time, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do everything you need to do. Share this on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, MySpace, wherever you are. Wherever you are watching this on or listening to this, thank you very much. And we'll catch you guys next time on The Josh Robinson Show. Peace out.